Hello, and welcome to What in the Mystical Hell podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Jobin. Our topic for today's episode is the pagan wheel of the year. If you've never heard of the wheel of the year, there are 8 major holidays or Sabbats celebrated by many pagans and witches. These include 4 quarter days and 4 cross quarter days that mark solstices, equinoxes, and the changing seasons. Now, the wheel of the year doesn't line up exactly with our regular calendar, but just bear with me. We actually start in December with Yule. So some of our days land on an exact day, some of our days fall around a specific section of days. So for Yule, that lands somewhere between December 20th through the 23rd, and is called the winter solstice. In February, we have Imbolg, so the beginning of February 1st or 2nd. This is also called Candlemas or Bridget's Day. This is the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. Coming in March, we have Ostara, which is the spring equinox, normally landing somewhere between March 20th and 23rd. Sliding into May, we have Beltane on the 1st of May. That's our May Day festival, and the halfway point between the spring equinox and summer solstice. Litha in June, somewhere between the 20th and 23rd, is our summer solstice. Coming up tomorrow, actually, we have Lughnassadh, which is August 1st, and it's our first harvest festival. This is also called Lammas, and it is halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. Mabon lands us in September, somewhere between the 20th and 23rd. Are you seeing my pattern here? That is the autumn equinox. And lastly, we end our year with Samhain, October 31st, which is also known as All Hallows Eve. Today, I'm going to focus on Lughnassadh, also known as Lammas. Lughnassadh is the first of 3 harvest festivals celebrated in the Wheel of the Year. It's celebrated on August 1st, or the halfway point between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. Traditionally, it was a time to show gratitude for nature's abundance and give offerings to ensure the remainder of the harvest went well. It's an opportunity to connect with the cycles of nature and a time to come together with your community. There are many traditions that people use to celebrate Lughnassadh and different rituals that you can do. Most of the traditions in my house are pretty low-key and food-centered. After the 4th of July holiday, I always feel drawn to all things fall-related. The running joke in my house is that July 5th is when the fall season starts, or, how we like to call it, Summerween. I start baking, and in this time of the year, I usually make cookies and bread. Bread is a staple in my house, and it's a staple in Lughnassadh. It symbolizes the harvest of the first grains and the cycle of life and sustenance. Other foods for your feast can include vegetables, particularly root vegetables at this time of year. Grilled meats are also good, so don't put away your summer barbecues just yet. Honey, fruits, and berries are also staples for a harvest feast. Now, something we make is a salad with strawberries, blueberries, feta, and basil. We add a drizzle of honey and balsamic glaze, and it's just delicious. I'll have that recipe later in the episode. This is a time to celebrate a bountiful harvest, so incorporate foods that hold that kind of meaning for you. Activities. Some Lughnassadh activities can include bonfires. I love a good bonfire. Community gatherings, harvest rituals, bread making, offerings, and gratitude. You can have different themes for your celebration. Those themes can include harvest and gratitude, life, death, and rebirth, divination, reflection, community, and celebrating craftsmanship and skills. As witches, it's really important that we honor those cycles of nature that we see every day, as well as focusing on our gratitude, personal growth, and the expansion of our craft. You might be newer to the craft, right? So you're asking yourself, well, how can I celebrate Lughnassadh? An easy way to start is by decorating your altar. There are several correspondences that you can use when decorating your altar. See which resonate with you and create something personal. Our first correspondence that I like to talk about are colors. Now, the colors I'm going to mention today are a general guideline of those associated with Lughnassadh. However, your personal preferences may differ. The thing that I use as a main foundation for my altar colors is yellow or gold. This represents the sun's energy and the bounty of the harvest. Green represents growth and vitality. Red and orange represent the transition from summer to autumn. And brown represents the farmer's hard work and the connection that we have to the land. Altar cloths, ribbons, and candles in these colors can just create just the right ambiance. All right, next, crystals. I know we all love a good crystal. Crystals can enhance the energy of your harvest celebrations. Choose ones that resonate with you. First up, we have amethyst. This is a stone of transformation and growth. You can use it to connect to your highest good for personal and spiritual growth and to deepen your instincts and intuition. Carnelian carries the energies of vitality, creativity, and motivation. Use it to invoke the power of the sun. Citrine. Citrine carries the energies of abundance, prosperity, and manifestation, and it can be used to amplify positive energies and attract abundance into your life. Green aventurine is considered the stone of opportunity and luck. Use it to connect to the energies of the earth and nature's cycles. Pyrite. Pyrite is one of my favorite stones. It's not really crystal, it's kind of stone to play around with. Pyrite is also known as fool's gold if you've never heard of pyrite. It's associated with abundance, prosperity, and manifestation. I remember when I was a kid when we used to go on the gold miner field trips and you'd get a little bit of fool's gold that you'd get to pan for in their little creek. We were always really excited because you got to take that home. You can use pyrite to tap into your inner strength and help you manifest your goals and desires. For us back in the day, our goal was just to find that little piece of gold, even if it was fool's gold. Quartz. Now, clear quartz is the one that I'm actually talking about right now. This versatile crystal can help amplify the energies of your other stones. It can also center you, help with your clarity, and increase your focus for your intentions. Next up, we have red jasper. This stone can provide strength and grounding during times of transformation and change. Now remember, at this part of the year, we are changing in the seasons. We're leaving the summer and the sun, and we're starting to enter the darker winter months, the fall and the winter months. So we're going through transformation and change. For ourselves, this can be like when we're like that butterfly that's cocooning ourselves, and then we're going to go through that metamorphosis. So you can use a red jasper to help you provide strength and grounding during those times. Sunstone. We're not out of the sun yet, so use that sunstone to represent the energy of the sun. You can use it to enhance your vitality. If you're feeling a little tired, carry some sunstone with you. It can also enhance creativity and motivation during ritual. My last stone is tiger's eye. This is a stone of protection, courage, and abundance. Tiger's eye can help you stay focused and grounded as you work your intention towards new beginnings. So are you seeing how all these kind of have a theme here? We're working on our focus. We're working on our strength. We're working on our motivation and just focusing. Because in these months are the time that we turn inward. We turn inward and we focus on those new beginnings that are going to blossom again in the spring. Finding the right combination of crystals will definitely enhance your Lughnassadh workings. All right, herbs. I love herbs. I don't know if you love herbs, but I love herbs. I love to cook with them. I love to make incense with them. And fresh herbs smell fantastic. I don't know how you feel about herbs, but different herbs can be used to enhance the energy of your space and your Sabbat preparations, whether it be for food, celebration offerings, or even incense like I like to make. Again, choose herbs that resonate with you for the best possible results. Right, our first herb on the list, calendula. This herb represents the sun's energy, and it can be used as a decoration. It can be used in adding strength to spells, especially in sun, fire, and light workings. You also can make a great facial oil for it, but I think that I'm going to save that for a later episode. Chamomile. Who does not love a good cup of chamomile? But did you know that chamomile is another plant with sun and fire magical properties? So this adds the energy of sun and fire and gives you a little bit of that passion and that little pop of energy. But it also can give you peace and tranquility to your workings. You can use that in tea, ritual baths, or incense. All right, next up we have lavender. know if anybody thinks of lavender as your first thing when you're thinking about Lughnassadh, but you can use lavender to enhance your spiritual connection or as an offering. Who doesn't love the relaxing smell of lavender? Mugwort. Mugwort has associations with dreaming, intuition, divination, and protection, making it a perfect match for your ritual work, especially as we're moving into the second half of the year. You can use during rituals involving the liminal spaces, so if you're doing rituals for dreaming, if you're doing rituals involving the astral plane, and to honor the land spirits. Honor your land spirits. What's next on my list? Rosemary. This is actually one of my favorite protective herbs and a great choice to cleanse or purify sacred spaces, both before and after your ritual. It also makes a great addition to your holiday meals. I threw a rosemary in everything. Okay, let's talk about sage. I debated on whether or not to add sage to this list. Sage is really well known for its cleansing and purification properties. However, it's not my first choice. I mean, I like sage well enough, but I have a couple reasons for this. One, sage is usually associated with smudging. That's an indigenous practice, and it's a closed practice, and it's not in my wheelhouse in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it's associated with shamanism, and again, it's an indigenous closed practice. So think about your words. Words have power, and if you're calling something smudging when that's not really the practice you use, think about what you're putting out there. Two, with the rise of New Age practices, it's very, very over-harvested, especially white sage. Now, I don't know if people really know, but there are lots of different varieties of sage. But the one that you almost always see in shops is the white sage, and it gets incredibly over-harvested. Now, you might have a reputable source, or you might use different types of sage other than white sage. You may also be doing smoke cleansing rather than smudging. So I do smoke cleansing in my house. So you can cleanse with protective herbs. I just don't call it smudging because that does have a specific ritual going into it, as I've said. Use your best judgment. If you're not sure the difference, then maybe just use a different herb, like rosemary. Lastly, and most important for me, see, even talking about it does this to me, too much exposure, to sage smoke makes me cough and a little bit nauseous. And that's just the smoke, because I do use sage in cooking, and it's amazing in so many different recipes. All right, frankincense. Frankincense is an herb that I can get behind when it comes to cleansing, purifying, and protecting a space. It is also really great for meditation and ancestor work. And frankincense is one of those great herbs that, I'm sorry, it's actually a resin. It's not an herb. I don't know why I said herb, but it's one of those things that when you're cleansing your space and using the protective energies of it, it does a fantastic job. But when you're working with different non-corporeal things, it also is something that you can have in the background, and it's not going to deter some of your workings or cause havoc with any of your workings. So I probably burn frankincense, if not every day, at least a lot of the days. All right, last on my list, thyme. Thyme is associated with courage, strength, and purification, and it can enhance the energies of protection, resilience, and endurance during your Lughnassadh rituals. Sorry, I can't talk today. As with the previous categories, use your best judgment and choose what resonates with you. Even for community gatherings, these rituals are really personal, so choose herbs that will enhance your experience. Not every herb is going to fit your need, and that's okay. Do what feels right to you, and have fun. Let's do some ritual talk. Now, I'm the first person to tell you that a ritual doesn't have to be elaborate. For some of us, though, the details are what help us get in the mindset of the ritual. If you are that person and aren't really sure where to begin, let me recommend Llewellyn's Sabbats Essential Series number 4, Lughnassadh, Rituals, Recipes, and Lore for Lamas. This book contains quite a bit of information, including how to perform the ritual. The link to that book will be in the episode notes. And if you have a recommendation, please shoot me an email. I love recommendations. I haven't read every book on the planet, and sometimes people recommend some absolute gems for me, and I love that. Rituals can be as elaborate or as simple as you choose. Here are a few tips I found that come in handy. 1. Ground and cleanse yourself. Making sure that you're cleansed and grounded is important for the simple reason that you don't want the frustrations and little bits of crazy from your day affecting your ritual. Cleanse your space. Doing your ritual in an energetically and physically clean space helps you keep your focus. It helps keep the crazy, not just from your day, but from your space, creeping in on your rituals. It clears that out so that you can really focus on your intention. And having a physically clean space means you're not tripping everything when you're doing ritual. Or tripping over things when you're doing ritual. I don't know if you've ever tried to do a ritual in a room full of Legos, but you will step on one right at a crucial moment. I promise you. Clean your body, clean your space. 3, have a copy of your ritual written out in case you blank on the next part. We all do it. It happens. Don't beat yourself up about it. It happens. Keep your notes. It'll help keep you on track. Your deities, they're not going to judge you for having notes. Nobody died because we had some notes. Keep the notes. Unless you have a fantastic memory, which I do not. I keep notes for everything. All right, number 4, and this is very important. Keep a fire extinguisher handy, just in case. We have found it to be very helpful. If you set the tablecloth on fire, set a broom on fire, or, the garage insulation. These things are flammable. And, maybe you're not paying attention because you're right in the middle of ritual and they just light up. Keep the fire extinguisher around, within close reach. At some point, you will need it. 5, it's okay to laugh. We make mistakes and it's funny. If everything needed to be serious, we'd be the Catholics. Rituals should be joyous, that energy. And sometimes we do have very serious, very sad things. But if you feel yourself bubbling up with laughter in that moment, let it happen. It's an emotion, and it's an honest emotion. So don't take yourself too seriously. Most deities I know don't take themselves very seriously. And that's okay too. Let's see, what number are we on here? Number 6. Work with what you have handy. Almost everything has a substitute. And likely you'll have that in your spice cabinet, whatever you need a substitute for. I think I'm on 7. Any doors that you open, just make sure you close them. For example, if you call the quarters, invoke a spirit, make sure to offer gratitude and then let it depart. If you are using a spirit board, make sure to close that door. If you're in your home, make sure that you invoke the laws of hospitality should anything go awry. You'll have a quick solution to get them out. Lastly, sometimes the best rituals are the simple ones that come from the heart. Don't feel like you have to make something so elaborate that it loses its meaning to you. When you create your rituals, they should be personal and meaningful. And know that quick, simple rituals, those can be meaningful too. It's all about your intention. I'll have a future episode about rituals and casting. We'll break it down a little deeper. Okay, now we're coming up to my favorite part, Lughnassadh foods. If you've met me, you know I am a food person. And obviously I touched a bit on food earlier in this episode. But since it's my favorite part of any holiday, I thought I'd expand and share some recipes. Pardon me. Don't be afraid to think outside your box for food, whether it be ritual foods or community sharing. I'm going to list some traditional food items, then share some recipes. Most of these recipes I've made, they're tried and true and kid tested, but a few were included because I'd love to try them in the future. First, the food items. When thinking about Lughnassadh foods, think harvest. Almost anything will be in season this time of year, or almost anything that will be in season this time of year will be great for your Sabbath feasts. Blackberries, bilberries, and blueberries. Almost any berry is great for harvest festivities, but these three are kind of awesome. When I think of blackberries, I remember running around as a kid during the summer and picking blackberries off the vine whenever we were hungry. We'd just be playing all day, why stop what we're doing and go in the house? We'd just go to the blackberry bush. When you're making blackberry dishes, try to channel that energy. The youthfulness of the sun, the summer, just having fun. Utilize that when working on your blackberry dishes. Blueberries. Blueberries remind me of the summer as well, but more so of hot blueberry muffins right out of the oven. We didn't have blueberry bushes in our neighborhood, but my mother every once in a while would make blueberry muffins in the morning, and that was a special treat. If you've never had a bilberry, think of them as European blueberries, smaller than the ones we see here in the States. Bilberries have some great medicinal properties, but if you take any medication to lower your blood sugar or for diabetes, do not eat bilberries. Blueberries are fine. Don't eat the bilberries. Got it? Don't do it. They'll not go well with those medications. Wine and grapes. Well, we've been using wine in spiritual practices for centuries. Catholics use it as the blood of Christ when taking communion, and wine is mentioned in both the Old and New Testaments, symbolizing abundance and blessings and joy and celebration. Followers of Dionysus, or Dionysus, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I don't know how I want to pronounce it today. Drank wine in his honor to experience divine joy and liberation from their worldly cares. In witchcraft, wine can symbolize abundance and prosperity. It's used as both libation and offering. If we dig deeper into the symbolism of the grapes, we see connections to visions, dreams, and spirit. This is just a small part of the magical uses for wine. Grapes have magical properties for fertility, birth, and rebirth, as well as life and vitality. Use it in spells for transformation after a period of rest. Okay, we're getting to the fun stuff. Mead. That's honey. Mead or honey wine has a lot of magical properties. Yes, it's connected to the harvest and abundance, but mead is also used for love spells, be it with a partner or for self-love. Just don't stick it in those manipulation love rituals. The sun energy of honey can also be used in happiness or reconciliation spells. In addition, the medicinal properties of honey make it very effective for healing spells. Used as an offering for ancestor or deity work as well. Bread. I love bread. Bread connects us to the grains and bountiful harvest. It's great for ritual use as an offering, and to ground after ritual. Breaking bread is a symbol of peace and prosperity around the world. Sharing offerings of bread can establish the laws of hospitality in your home. You can use different herbs when you're baking the bread depending on your intention, and then the act of eating the bread can manifest desired results. Potatoes. It's taters, precious. That was not a very good Smeagol impression, sorry. But it is taters, precious. Potatoes have healing properties as well as protective and grounding energies. Any of your root vegetables are really going to have that grounding energy, but it's nice to have the protective and the healing properties as well. Think about that when you're making a big bowl of mashed. Mushrooms. Now I'm talking about the ones that grow out of the ground, not the ones you take for a psychedelic trip. Mushrooms are associated with spiritual growth, enlightenment, and rebirth. This actually makes a lot of sense because when a forest is burned or when you have rot in the forest, the first things that start growing again are the mushrooms. In the context of Lughnassadh, mushrooms can symbolize transformation, change, and abundance. Sunflowers and sunflower seeds. Use the sunflower to invoke the power of the sun, especially in healing spells and spells for happiness. Sunflowers can also symbolize courage, so you can actually create a magical pouch with sunflower seeds, borage, rosemary, or yarrow, if you don't want to do borage or rosemary, and bloodstone or tiger's eye. You can create your own little pouch to carry around with you. Oh my goodness, corn. Summer corn. I don't know if there's much better than that, but sweet summer corn is an amazing thing. Many cultures have lore about corn and its mystical properties. It's a symbol of the harvest and of the Earth Mother. Corn is known to carry the energies of abundance, luck, prosperity, and fertility. You can use the kernels in spell bags and charm bags for abundance. The corn silk can be used for tea or tinctures, and the husks can be used to make poppets. Last on my list is cinnamon. I love cinnamon too. Gosh, I love everything on this list. Goodness. Cinnamon is associated with the element of fire and can be added to spells to make them manifest faster. Love, protection, cleansing, and luck spells can also benefit from the addition of cinnamon. I have a lot of cinnamon in my spell work. Big surprise. It works great for lust spells too. All right. Now down to the literal meat and potatoes of it, the recipes. Food and food traditions are such a big part of our celebrations. And here are the recipes that I mentioned a little earlier in the episode. Concentrate on your intentions as you're making these. And I'll have links to the recipes a link to the recipes in the episode notes. Blackberry pie. You can use almost any recipe that's out there for blackberry pie. Just make the act of putting the blackberries in the pie, like making the filling, intentional to increase your prosperity through transference magic. So when you're putting that pie filling in, let's be honest, I don't make the crust. I bake a lot of things, but I don't do the crust well. It's not my forte. I use store-bought crust. But as I'm mixing the filling and putting it in, I'm putting my intention into those berries. And then when the pie is baking, that transformation is going to manifest my desires and my intentions. You know, ovens are a magical, magical thing. What's my next recipe? Brie phyllo cups with blackberry and thyme. These bite-sized treats combine blackberry, thyme, and honey with brie for a lovely contrast of flavors. They're also very easy to make. Now, again, you can put intention into these as you're making them, or you can just enjoy them as part of your celebration. Strawberry, blueberry, feta, and basil salad. Now, I talked about this in the very beginning of the episode. You're going to mix the strawberries, luck and love, blueberries, luck and protection, and basil, prosperity, with honey for abundance and feta for positive energy and symbolic of a successful outcome. These are going to create a dish that's going to manifest abundance in your life. Pop a little balsamic glaze to top it off. Oh my gosh, and the summer treat is going to have you coming back for more. It's just yummy, yummy. I love it. Shrimp and crab fisherman's pie. So if you've ever had shepherd's pie, this is a seafood version, and it's so full of flavor, even my kids loved it. Now, I got a recipe off the internet. I made a couple adjustments, so I'm definitely going to post the original recipe in the notes, but for my version, I did make those adjustments, like less chili powder and no hot sauce. I know my tongue is a wimp. I'll make notation of where I made changes. The shrimp symbolizes the bounty of a plentiful life. The crab, resilience and adaptability. And the potatoes, of course, are grounding and protective. So you're mixing all that up, and it's a recipe not only for your taste buds, but for your life. Zucchini bread. This is one of my favorite things to make, especially at this time of year, because, zucchini and squash, I'm lucky enough that they are available all year in the grocery store, but now they're available in the farmer's market. And I have a friend who has a farm who's been running a farmer's market and just had absolutely gigantic zucchinis. So we made bread. Zucchinis resonate with earth energy, and that makes them perfect for harvest recipes. In this bread recipe, I do use gluten-free flour and a sugar substitute. So I'll notate in the recipe, I'll post the original and I'll notate where I made changes. I also added chocolate chips to represent the sweetness that life offers. Sometimes, depending on your zucchini, there can be a little bit of a bitter taste. But adding that chocolate in reminds you that with the bitterness in life, there are also the sweet things that can make you smile. Even in the midst of grief, even in the midst of your life transforming, there's always some little spurts of good to be had. There's also cinnamon, big surprise, in this recipe for protection and luck. Okay, this last recipe on my list is for future celebrations. skillet chicken and mushroom wine sauce. Now, I have not made this recipe yet, but when I was researching Lughnassadh recipes for this episode, it looks so good. I just couldn't pass it up. It's listed as an easy Lughnassadh dinner. That's all I have for recipes. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode and found at least some of the information useful. If you try any of these recipes, send me a picture. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear that. Yeah, even if you hated it. Yeah, it's not great feedback, but I'll take any feedback I can get. Or if you have a tradition or a recipe that you would like to share, send us an email or comment on our social media. Oh boy. Before I sign off, I have a little bit of news. As much as I love doing this podcast, it is a lot to do on my own. I've been trying to think of ways to make that easier, and I know I started off with so many episodes that came right back, and then just life kind of pushed me back around, and it's been getting a little harder and harder to do these episodes. So I came to a decision. Don't worry, it's a good one. I'm excited to announce that I have a co-host joining me for future episodes. How much more interesting would this be if I had somebody to bounce off of and who could bounce off of me, huh? I think that we might have a producer joining us at some point too, but that might be a bit farther in the future. I mean, by no means are we going legit because I'm already too legit to quit, right? I know, bad 90s reference. It's okay. If you've been a follower for Golden Apple for a while, you might remember this person from our vidcast, Left Unsupervised, Witches Misbehaving. So I don't know if you ever saw that, but you can find that on the Golden Apple Facebook. We have those videos posted there. Yeah, also, if you are Facebook friends with me, you can find them on my personal Facebook. This person was a fantastic guest host in episodes 5 and 8 of our first season. I am so pleased to have my dear friend Lauren join the show. She has a background in Native American, Afro Islander, and South American mysticism, and I love getting to learn more about her path. We never get enough chances to just sit and talk about metaphysical shit, witchy shit. But during her time as a guest host, I got to learn so many cool things that I didn't know before. Like things that I didn't know about her and things that I just didn't know in general. So I'm really, really excited to have her hosting this podcast with me, but you got to be warned. Sometimes we get a little crazy. All right. Always fun. Sometimes crazy. Usually inappropriate. So please join us for future podcasts. I'm going to post the link to the vidcast episodes that Lauren hosted with me so you can see a bit of us in action. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that I get to do this. And, I love being able to share bits and pieces of my life with you. Again, I really hope that you found this episode fun and informative, and I would love to have your questions or comments. Find us on Facebook or Instagram. Got to do my little spiel here for the social media. Also, if you'd like to support the podcast, we are attached to the Golden Apple Metaphysical Patreon. Sign up as a patron to access exclusive podcast content, and you can maybe get some goodies from Golden Apple as well. Find us at www.patreon.com, Golden Apple Metaphysical. If you have questions, comments, personal experiences, please, I love to hear them. I am dying for some of those things. Please email them to us at whatinthemysticalhell@gmail.com. This has been another crazy episode of What in the Mystical Hell podcast, where we love to cook. Sometimes we're inappropriate. Okay, mostly we're inappropriate. And when things go bump in the night, we know how to bump back. Stay safe and take care. And may all your Lughnassadh festivities be heartfelt and soul-filling and just make you feel loved in your community. Take care.